Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Adventure Karma. Today I am doing something quite different than my normal gaming videos. Today I will be discussing liberalism and conservatism in my first Political Nerds Extended Rant. I spelled that wrong in my script. Alright, so to start this off, we must set the groundwork for what the terminology in this video will be. I will use 4 different terms. There will be radical conservatives. You'll see this more often called classical conservatives, or to a certain extent, classical liberals. However, they are separate, but I'm not discussing those two here. Conservatives, run-of-the-mill, modern conservative. Liberals, modern, not how you think of them. Liberals, not progressives. That title of progressive is used to describe radical liberals. Second, you must understand that conservatism and liberalism are not left or right. They're not Republican. They're not Democratic. They are simply conservative or liberal. You can be a centrist, Republican, liberal. You can be a right-wing, Democratic, conservative. They are rare, and usually people line up with all three, or centrist, or just one or two, but they are not the same. Anyways, alright, so another thing. Conservatism and liberalism are social ideologies. They are political, but they focus much more on social problems. They focus on social norms, economics, morals, and social hierarchy, which are the 4 things we'll be showing today. Start off on conservatives. Conservative thought on social norms is that of traditionalists. They are usually more pro-religious than liberals. Now, a comment here. All religions, not simply like Protestantism or Christianity. Conservatives will be more pro-religious, whether or not it's Islam or Hindu or Zoroastrianism, an ancient Middle Eastern religion, if you don't know what that is. Conservatism does not discriminate on what religion it is. However, radical conservatives also do. Radical conservatives often, not always, but usually, they want to enforce their religious doctrine. So, just something to know. Economically, conservatives tend to lean to a pro-business and pro-capitalist stance. They also tend to support a more mercantile form of trade. For those of you who don't know, mercantilism is the idea of self-sufficiency, that one country should produce every product that that country would need, such as food, clothing, guns, ammunition. This is not always a bad idea. Countries such as the United States or the PRC, People's Republic of China, can produce their own needs, even though it would be more expensive than importing. It is possible to do it. As stated before, conservative thought is pro-religious, and radical conservatives believe that their personal belief should be forced on the populace for the common masses to be moral. But modern conservatives, however, believe that if another belief system is compatible to show people good morals, they are fine with its existence. Such as Judeo-Christian religions are compatible, but the old religions of the Aztecs or the Albanians are not compatible, because they have a different moral code. So then they require either a phasing out or, in extreme cases, purging, which sadly has been the more sought-to way of dealing with religious diversity in the past. On the issue of social hierarchy, mainstream modern conservatives, they believe that there is a social hierarchy, that other people are more powerful than you or they have worked harder than you. It is almost an idea of how much you contribute to the society. A man who is poor but helps build houses for the homeless or who helps people in need would be higher up in society. They would be more recognized as a good person in the social hierarchy than a man who is rich but did nothing but live in leisure for his entire life. The radical side, however, believes in a strict social hierarchy. There's no mobility, unlike the modern conservatives, which do believe you can move around in the social hierarchy. It's usually based on the government on top, the rich below them, the business class, and then the popular masses. Now, this has changed throughout history, but they usually believe in that basic set. Alright, now let's move on to liberalism. Liberalism believes that social norms can be whatever the society thinks they should be. There's no set base. They are fluid in their stance, where once liberalism, during its classical liberal period, believed in the same social caste system as modern conservatives, they now believe in absolute equality. This is more or less the same for radical liberals. Whenever you start talking about radicals, opinions often change massively. And just there's a lot of difference between what each one thought. But generally, radical liberals still think that social norms are fluid and just should be whatever. There is a common misbelief that liberals believe in socialist economics. That's strike one. Others will try to convince you that they are capitalist. That's strike two. A free market economy. An economy where independent individuals find a good that people need and make that item to gain profit. The society at the time thinks they should be. What liberal economists believe. Just a note, liberalism, I feel, is much more diverse than conservatism, and this won't go for everyone. Some will believe in socialism, others in capitalism, but free market seems to be a much more common. Radical liberals do usually believe in socialist economic policies. As I said, once again, thoughts are different among certain people, but generally they are much more socialist in their policies. So we need to talk about the difference between free market. For morality, liberals take a almost a to each their own stance. It's relative in their opinion. Although they do have certain morals, such as don't kill, don't rob, etc., they still keep to that. They're not monsters. Radical liberals often believe an idea of absolute multiculturalism. All mortals are relative. Now, most people don't realize this, but saying that every culture is equal to each other, it means that both killing someone and saving someone are just as moral as each other. The liberal viewpoint on social hierarchy is total equality. Not absolute equality, but total equality. You can follow this up with equality under the law, which makes it much easier to understand than differentiating between total and absolute. By the way, those are not the literal terms, those are just the best way I could distinguish them for right now. So keep that in mind, I'm not an expert. They believe that a man who worked all his life to climb to the top of society is just as important and just as equal as the man who lives paycheck to paycheck. Now, I know this probably sounds strange, to say the least, but consider that liberalism came out to oppose radical conservatives, classical conservatives, who believed in an absolute social hierarchy. That they wanted to just get away from the caste system. from the peasants and the lords and the kings. So they went to the exact opposite of the spectrum, went to total equality. Radicals believe in absolute equality. Now, this is equality under the law, equality in economics, equality in living standards, all of that jazz. It's socialism, basically. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking. Thank you for sticking with me through this 804 word essay. I know it ended kind of abruptly, but as people who know me can tell you, I'm not good at ending things well. I hope this helped in your understanding of these ideas. I want to say personally that this stuff is very interesting to me, and it is good to know. I also want to state that I am not an expert in any way. I am just a kid in an office, not a real office, by the way. I don't have a job. I guess this is my job, but I ain't getting paid for it. I'm just a kid sitting in a room with a computer and a mic, a bad mic, I might add, talking about two of the most trigger-happy words in the world. So, I mean, please don't kill me in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. I will link my sources down in the bottom. Now, these are not all my sources because I've been listening to this stuff since I was like 10, so I can't put them all. But specifically for the research of this one, I put some in the description. So, yeah, thank you guys for this. Thank you for all the support you've been giving me recently, even though I know the